Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, directed by the master of horror himself, James Wan. I mean, you take that movie, The Last Ronin, and the director, James Wan, and you put them together. That sounds like a recipe for something incredible. And I know that people have been clamoring to get this graphic novel turned into a movie for years. I mean, it's a dark, gritty, lone wolf, action-packed, R-rated story featuring a mutant ninja turtle. It's heart-wrenching. It's such a sad and tragic story, like a revenge story, and the action is fantastic. Guys, if you're not big comic book readers, I completely understand, but if you read one comic in your life, pick up The Last Ronin, comic, graphic novel, whatever you want to call it. Incredible story. It just covers all the bases. Heart-wrenching, dark, gritty, action-packed, all of that kind of stuff. Trust me, pick it up and read it. You won't regret it whatsoever, guys. But anyway, let's jump into this article. Let's break down this news and details surrounding a Last Ronin movie coming to us from James Wan. So, this comes to us from Comic Book Movie. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, James Wan rumored to be in talks to direct an R-rated live action movie based on The Last Ronin. Yeah, I mean, over the recent years, they've done a few Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mutant Mayhem, that animated movie that they came out with in the last few years, that was such a fun movie. I really, really enjoyed it. People loved it. I thought it was a great movie. And I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is kind of on the up with its popularity. And I think it could do absolutely incredible at the box office. Deadpool has showed us that an R-rated franchise can do amazing box office numbers. So, I mean, they could do the same thing here with the Last Ronin movie. It's kind of like a Deadpool type of movie. R-rated, action-packed, and all that kind of good stuff that you see in a Deadpool movie, but coming from a Last Ronin, except it's not really a comedy. I mean, Deadpool's more of a comedy. This is more of a serious, gritty kind of type of story. But you get what I mean, the comparisons of the R-rated franchises. If Deadpool can do a great R-rated franchise, then I'm sure this could do the same as well. That's kind of my take anyway. But let's read some of these details. So, earlier this year, we got word that Paramount Pictures was in the process of developing an R-rated live-action adaptation of the acclaimed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin comic series, and the project may have now found a director attached. According to Scooper, My Time to Shine Hello, a big kind of movie industry scooper on social media, gets a lot of information right, gets some things wrong. Take this information with a grain of salt. It hasn't been confirmed from the studio or James Wan himself, so just bear that in mind. But we're going to be discussing it as if this is a true story for the meantime. But yeah, one of these industry insiders, like I say, says that this is happening. So potentially could be there, could not. So take it with a grain of salt. My Time to Shine Hello, Aquaman director James Wan is being eyed to helm the movie. In addition to both Aquaman movies, Wan is known for directing a number of horror films such as The Conjuring, Saw, Insidious, and Malignant. Tyler Burton Smith, who co-wrote the recent dystopian action movie Boy Kills World and 2019's Child Play reboot, is penning the script. Former DC film head Walter Hamada is producing through his 18Hertz production company as part of his multi-year deal with the studio. The Last Ronin is a Dark Knight Returns style story which imagines a future where one member of the fearsome foursome is the last living turtle, setting out to avenge the death of his brothers and Master Splinter by bringing down Shredder's grandson and the authoritarian descendants of the Foot Clan. So yeah, like I said, a very dark, very heart-wrenching, gritty tale of kind of like loss and revenge, and it's just really, really sad and action-packed, and it just covers everything, man. If they made this into a live-action movie, you would literally go for a roller coaster of emotions in this film. And yeah, like, I'm just trying to picture this, and I think if it's done right, if it's written well, this could be really heart-wrenching, emotional story, and it could be fantastic. So, spoiler alert here. So, the first issue concludes with a big reveal that it's actually Michelangelo behind the black bandana. This news follows the success of the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem animated movie, which has a sequel on the way. Yeah, like I said, Mutant Mayhem was a really fantastic story. It was a fantastic story. The animation was fun. The characters were had so much humor and comedy and the chemistry, and everything was just really fun. I think Jackie Chan voiced Splinter, if I'm not mistaken, which was also really, really fun. But yeah, check out Mutant Mayhem if you haven't seen it. Really, really fun Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. It was better than it had any business being, to be honest. If you're familiar with the late 80s Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series or the previous big screen adaptations, the notion of an R-rated take on this property may seem rather strange, but the original comic series by creator Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird was quite a bit grittier than subsequent takes. Yeah, the earlier comic book versions of these characters were vastly different from what we know in pop culture today. They were so much more gritty and kind of more surreal, the characters, and yeah, very, very different from what the image of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is today. Trust me on that one. So, a AAA video game based on The Last Ronin was announced last year. Doug Rosen, Senior Vice President for Games and Emerging Media at Paramount Global, likened the upcoming third-person action role-playing game to Sony's recent God of War titles, and said it would be authentic to the story of The Last Ronin arc, which is set in a future where only one of the turtles has survived. I mean, if it's similar to a God of War movie, like a third-person kind of action-adventure set in the Ronin kind of story timeline, that would be so great. I mean, give it to me. I mean, if the graphics are on par with God of War, if the story is written as well as God of War, and the action and the gameplay is the same as well, I mean, just, yeah, take my money. So, what do you make of this news? Any interest in an R-rated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? Absolutely. I would pay loads of money to see this. Or do you feel the adventures of Mikey, Donnie, Leo, and Ralph should remain family-friendly? How would you feel if one does sign on to direct? Drop us a comment below. I think you can have both. You can have the best of both worlds here. You can have the Mutant Mayhem series of movies, which is like a family-friendly 4-quadrant type of movie in the animation style, which is really fun, really comedic, great chemistry, and kind of charming, aesthetic, very heartwarming. And you can take your kids and you can take anybody of any age to sort of see those type of movies. But alongside that, we can have a live-action, gritty, realistic kind of Dark Knight kind of take on The Last Ronin. We can have it side by side. So we can have the best of both worlds here. I don't see why we need to have one or the other. We can have both. Because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it lends itself to kind of any type of movie. Whether it's family friendly, whether it's R-rated, you can have both. And I think we should have both. So this is the comic book cover here for The Last Ronin. As you can see here, dressed in this kind of ninja outfit. He's got these big katanas. He's got a katana and he's got a big kind of staff on his back as well. In The Last Ronin, we run into Michelangelo as the last turtle and his quest for vengeance against the Foot Clan. This is the story of Mike's journey traveling around the world trying to deal with the death of his loved ones. During this time, he will come across a dangerous warlord known as Death Worm. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. So it looks like James Wan could potentially be signing on to direct a live-action Last Ronin movie. If it's done in the vein of a Deadpool style of movie, where the action, the grittiness, the R-rated, I don't think there's going to be much comedy in this though, because like I say, it's more of a gritty kind of, gritty kind of dark story, whereas Deadpool's kind of a humor inspired type of character. So, but in the same vein as the R-rated action, I mean, it's been proven now that R-rated movies can generate a lot of money. The same happened with the Joker movie, the first Joker movie. So R-rated material is more popular than it's ever been. So right now would be the great time to get into this R-rated turtle property here. I think the time is now, and I think they could do great at the box office. But guys, jump into the comment section, let me know what you think about this. Are you interested in a Last Ronin R-rated movie coming from director James Wan, or do you think that it should be kept family friendly and more kind of cartoonish versions of these characters? Whatever your thoughts are, guys, I'd love to hear from you. As always, be sure to hit the like and become a subscriber if you haven't already. Being a subscriber goes a long way to supporting the content, so I'd really, really appreciate that, and I will see you in the next video.